I love how the media spins the narrative that when they are more single women than ever before, it's a good thing. However, when there's a rise in single men, they have to paint it in a negative light by saying we're lonely as if there's a huge problem with men being single. Let me say this, gents, men are better equipped to stay single than women ever will be, and that's an undeniable fact. We've been doing this for centuries, so I don't see what they're trying to say. The only problem now is the sucker for love ninjas, and guys who can't get any women are the ones out here hurting the most because they don't have access to sex. I think the main problem is that more and more men are not getting access to bedroom fun, and it's not so much the relationship aspect affecting most men today. I believe if most men were getting access to sex and they could still procreate and raise their kids in the absence of marriage and not get penalized for it by the family court, we would not have so many men that are down bad. On the other hand, women need relationships more than men do, so don't let them fool you into thinking they're perfectly fine without a man. When age starts to creep up on them and illnesses and health scares become more prominent in their lives, they'll want a partner or family quickly because they know they'll be done without someone to care for them in their old age. This is why women want kids so badly. If you take out the biological urge to procreate, the payoff they get from child support, and the attention they receive from having kids, they view their kids as an insurance policy in their retirement age. I know that for a fact because I've heard multiple women say the same thing, and I've seen what happens to women who didn't have anyone to take care of them when they were old, and it was not a pretty sight. I'll tell you that. Now, I'm not hating that they have their little jobs and are making money. I could care less. It has no bearing on my life. But even though they are making more money than ever before, most of them are still broke anyways. It's not like these women are suddenly becoming 100,000-daires and have 5 to 6 figures in the bank. If you believe that, then you're out of your mind. Some are, I'm sure, but it's nowhere close to the majority of them who are struggling regardless of whether we are in good times or an economic collapse like right now. The media only reports half-truths, and they never paint the correct picture, or you would quickly realize what they're saying means absolutely nothing. See, women are making more money, and that's good, but what they're not telling you is the amount of personal debt and student loans they have that are eating away at their finances and keeping them stuck. It doesn't matter if they are making good money if a good chunk of it is going towards paying off debts, and that's what you hope strategists need to consider before dating these women. Many women making good money have 5, 6, and 7 figures of student loan debts. They are effed, trust me. Even if they make more money than men, they are keeping less of it, and that's why men still have more disposable income than most career women each month. Also, we are less expensive to maintain, and we don't consume as much as them, so that also helps. Men screw themselves by getting married, then getting divorced and being placed on child support. If men stopped doing those, most of us would be well off and able to retire by our late 40s. And another thing to think about is that an increasing number of women are selling puss on the side to get by each month. Go to seeking.com or what I call the Soul Society, and you'll see for yourselves. With that said, if women are having to resort to this, and trust me, career women are doing it on the side, it's clear that although they are making money, they are still broke. So when I read a headline like this, I just laugh because I know it means they're effed. Always remember it is easier to make it in this world with a strong family than by yourself, and sadly women destroyed the family, so they screwed men and themselves in the process, but it is what it is. The solution for men is to stop getting married and impregnating normie women, and they'll be good. Besides that, I don't care what happens to these ex-exes because they put themselves in that position, so let them live out the consequences of their decision. I don't suggest saving anybody. We aren't superheroes over here, so leave these women alone. It's time to get into this article and see what these people are saying. The article is from the Good Men Project, and the title is, "Single is the New Black. 45% of women will be single by 2030, so smash the like button and get this video to 600 likes. Don't let me have to go for the jammy. Alright, let's dive into it. More and more women are single by choice. In 2018, that number was 41% for working women between the ages of 25 and 54. According to the global leader in financial services, Morgan Stanley, it will rise to 45% by 2030. What exactly is driving this trend? More and more women are choosing to delay marriage and focus on their careers. For the same reason, women are choosing to delay childbirth, have fewer children, or stay child-free. Increasingly more women choose to divorce in their 50s or 60s. A few decades back, these choices were an impossibility. The great majority of women didn't have the option of financial independence, therefore, they couldn't afford to be without a man for too long. But increased equality and financial freedom drove this huge and steady shift in women's approach to life and priorities. Women now strongly won over areas of success that were previously only available to men. Alright gents, I am supposed to cover this exact topic in a separate video, where we talked about women are going crazy when men don't care about dating and relationships. And in that video, I cautioned men about marriage because their wives can divorce them when they're near retirement or on retirement and destroy the husband. She said in the article women in their 50s and 60s are divorcing their husbands, most likely to try and level up before it's over for them. And when that happens, unless the husband is super wealthy, he's done. That is what Coach Greg Adams calls a gray divorce, because you're at a point where you are old and you can't work or have the energy to work and recuperate the money you've lost. So it's technically a wrap if your retirement and investments cannot last until the end of your life. And notice how the article frames it as a good thing that women are now able to break apart the family whenever they want. This is why I will always say don't get married, because if this happens to you, and statistically it's happening, you'll never recover. Also, the thing with women not marrying when they're young or having kids will destroy their lives the most, because without a family, most women will struggle in retirement. The thing you must understand is most women never save towards their retirement, and they never keep the money they slaved away for decades to get. That doesn't happen, so it's good that they can work and have a decent lifestyle, but if they don't keep anything, then what's the point? Children and husbands were the ones to protect and take care of women when they were old, but since there's a growing trend of older women being childless and unmarried, and they aren't saving for their retirement, they're effed. But whose fault is that? It's their fault, so let them suffer the consequences of their actions and don't save them. Let's continue. Number 1. Education. According to a Pew Research Center analysis of government data, women have overtaken men and now account for more than half, approximately 50.7%, of the college-educated labor force in the United States. Number 2. Professional advancement. Since 2010, the percentage of women executives has increased across all developed regions, with the largest gains in Asia with a doubling of participation since 2010. Number 3. Income growth. In 1980, women earned 64 cents for every dollar that men made, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Today, the gap has shrunk to between 77 and 85 cents for every dollar. Number 4. Consumer power. Rising labor force participation rates should put upward pressure on women's wages and help increase overall consumer spending. Apparently, when women were given a chance to earn and thrive, they did. Who would have thought? Everybody with an ounce of critical thinking did. Gents, there are literally more women in America than men, so it's only a matter of time before they start to outnumber us in the workplace and college. However, women still don't have more money than men because of their high student loans and personal debt, and most of them are not saving a damn thing. So, although many women nowadays are making more money than men because they spend so much, it's in vain since they are still broke at the end of the day. And men are waking up to realize college isn't the end-all be-all and are choosing different routes, which would explain why more women are in colleges. But here's the deal, most women come out with useless degrees anyways, or their debt-to-income ratio is so high that they'll never pay that ish off on their own. I think it's pretty sad, but nobody forced them to go the college and career route, so it is what it is. And never pay off a woman's loans, guys. If you do that, she'll leave or divorce you because you freed her, so keep that in mind. As it relates to everything else she mentioned, none of that matters if, at the end of the day, you're still broke at your retirement age, and that is more likely to happen than not for most single women. So the path of womanism that they've chosen and 304 culture will come back to bite most of them in the butt later on if they continue to be irresponsible with their lives and future. And again, have a long memory, gents. Nobody forced them to abandon their families for a career, so do not save any of them when they are falling down the bottomless pit, because they probably sabotage their lives. So what makes you think she won't do the same to you? Continuing. Increased power leads to increased expectations. So there's another question that arises. If women are no longer dependent on men, does it also mean they are no longer interested in men? Absolutely not. It just means that women are now interested in good men. There are plenty of good men out there, and there will be even more in the future. Slowly but surely, toxic masculinity will only be appealing to toxic men as a way to self-validate. If you think there aren't any more good men left, it's just because the toxic ones make a lot of noise, and everybody's tired of it. The good women who choose to be single are tired of abusers, but also the good men who have their good names sullied by abusers, incels, and Neanderthals. Gents, we know that this is a lie. They don't want good men in their prime, so that's a flat-out lie. In their prime, they want Chad, Tyrone, and the top-tier men, so what she's saying is BS. They'll only want the good man past the age of 30, but at that point, the good man is getting a leftover woman with many sexual partners, and that's an L. They'll choose the so-called abusers, thugs, guys who have so-called toxic masculinity, a-holes, and Pookie and Ray Ray. Those are the men they really want, so what she's doing is virtue signaling and lying. The data backs up my claim way more than hers, because if good men were winning, the dating market wouldn't be so effed up right now. And the incel virgins she's disrespecting wouldn't exist. Women have caused most of the problems in dating and relationships because they are the ones choosing, not the men, so they can choose to date good men in their younger years and raise a family first, then go to work after the children are grown, but they don't want that, and that's why we are where we are today. But hey, I told you guys to leave these women alone, so the choice is yours. Let's wrap this bad boy up. Conclusion. This is great news for both sexes, but only for those members of society that are emotionally mature and mentally sane. And here's why. With women not needing to marry men for financial stability or safety, they can decide to be with men because they really want them in their lives. Now men can be sure that they are truly loved, wanted, appreciated, and cherished as human beings, not just walking wallets or a meal ticket. And the good men of this world will want nothing less. Gents, I have a YouTube channel I'm trying to monetize. I'll link it in the description and pinned comments so you guys can show a brother some love and go subscribe. I only need a few more of you to subscribe, and I'll be halfway monetized. Thank you for the support, brothers. I appreciate all of you. Which planet does this woman live on? It must be planet Namek. There's no way it's on Earth. That's never going to happen once women choose their partners. And I'm not complaining, gents. Don't think I'm looking out for the good of society, because I know it's over. If 45% of women want to be single, then let them. What I preach and try to convey in my message is to leave long-term relationships, marriage, and cohabitation alone. Only mess with them when you want to bust a nut, and that's it. Get a subscription girlfriend and pay her to leave. That's my recommendation, because most of you are not getting what you want from modern women, and they have no intentions of compromising and giving you what you want. So why settle for less only to get betrayed, have your bank account drained, and your kids taken away from you? You need to answer that question for yourselves. At the end of the day, it's your life, so make the best decision you see fit for yourself. I'm just going to live the free agent lifestyle until I die and avoid modern women. The juice isn't worth the squeeze, and I refuse to flush my life down the toilet over a woman. But I find it interesting that women are choosing to sabotage and destroy their future when they could live a decent married life. But it is what it is. I don't care, and neither should you. If you're new and like our content, subscribe, tap the bell, and then tap all so you never miss any of our videos. Also on the screen is our Season 6 RP content that our supporters have been loving lately, so click the video on the screen right now to get a good laugh and learn to be ahead of modern women.